Yeah, here we are, ESR Academy, joined here with Justin, Matt, and Cole as kind of always. And it's the ESR Academy series finale at Barcelona in the GT3 cars. Hello, boys. Looks like it's a wet one out there.
Yeah, and also the
It
track's
is.
looking pretty damp as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Kind of a small field out there, but we got a lot of the main guys in here who've been around all season. You know, the guys fighting up front. Hemi and Foster, Northrup, Bennett, McLaughlin, so...
Oh, Bennett's a little off today.
Nelson and Silvestri did not even set a qualifying time. Well, we'll see. Are either of them on
They
track?
probably tried to.
Yes, both of them are actually on track right now, so I assume this means they will
Last
be.
Chance Saloon.
Let's see what they can do. This could be interesting. Silvestri certainly is normally one of the quickest guys.
Yeah,
See if he can put in anything.
there's definitely some interesting tactics that's going to go on if the track remains this level of wetness, because it's definitely faster with the wet tires, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of accumulation, so they might be having some overheating problems.
So is this
Although the
a
track's
variable?
still wet, though.
Is it like a... Oh, let's see where Silvestri
There's
goes.
a range.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we could see, we got weather forecasts coming in saying anywhere from light to heavy rain throughout the evening, so we'll have to see what kind of state the track's in when we flip over to race day.
So Silvestri
Yeah,
and Nelson do both get in laps, although not great laps. They got in something at least.
Yeah.
So this is our first wet race of the season, right?
Yes, there was weather forecast. There was rain forecasted for Brands Hatch, as it always rains in England. But they
It
managed
didn't
to
rain.
find a dry spell. They did. It rained in practice, and then it dried up for qualifying, and the race stayed dry. So we'll see.
Watch we flip over next Sunday. This Sunday it's gonna be like totally wet. Cause on the Wednesday
I was
practice,
told in the 3D speed at Laguna it's supposed to be raining. I was looking forward to that, but it ended up being dry.
Yeah.
at the 3D speed practice race at Laguna, which is I guess the 2019 tires, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they were. It was set to 2019. I was able to figure that out during my investigation because I was like, "What is going on? Why does my car feel so weird? Why is Motec wrong?" There's an interesting thing. There's some unlisted server settings for certain tracks. The IGTCs being one of them. And so if you want them to use the 2020 model, you have to manually type in the correct name for the 2020 version of the track without actually, it's not in the PDF.
Which makes sense because the 2020 tires never raced Laguna.
Precisely. But there is a 2020 Laguna track in the game. That's what Sunday GT is going to be using. We're going to try to keep it uniform. It's a new year, new tire model, new update. We're going to rock the 2020 all the way through. If your specific car model does not have the ability to race on 2020 in single player, if you wanted to practice offline, you can manually run the 2020 circuit by going to by making a custom livery of your specific model
Like the
car
Jags?
in the 2020 circuit. Precisely. That's how I had to practice because for the 2019 and the 2020 version of Laguna, unfortunately, I assumed it would be the 2020 version, and it wasn't. So I was a bit off on my practice.
Hey guys, I'm gonna jump in
22
here. A
seven in
note I
practice.
see, it looks like we've got a couple viewers out there live. I'm looking at the diagnostics. The live stream is kind of chugging along, not running very well. So I am recording so we can put this up post in much better quality. I was just gonna cut the live stream there, but I guess even in poor quality, I'm gonna keep it up in case, you know, people do want to follow along, see the results as they happen live. But if the quality is not up there, don't feel the need to watch it live. The few of you who are watching, it will be going up afterwards in full quality. But I will keep the live stream up for now.
Streaming it to Matt probably will have that effect.
I mean, I've done in the past. We've been able to.
Even on the best systems.
Well, remember when I was streaming it to you and we were doing
We can
the
test
Sunday
this.
series, like it tanked to the bandwidth.
Yeah,
like
I can
half
actually
to third.
share it to Matt. I can share it to Matt. That's what
Oh,
I'll do.
good idea. Well, I'm still seeing
only
it's
thing is,
not
to be safe, I'm gonna
optimal.
run it low quality.
It's still dropping a hefty number of frames. But like I said, there will be a full recording up later. But I'll just keep live stream up in case anyone
Jesus.
wants to see it.
I just saw like 4 pixels on the screen.
Discord uses a disproportionate amount of CPU power to stream for me. I don't know why.
20 seconds.
It is
Really?
pretty bad.
For me, it's actually very, very, very minimal. Like, for me, it just hogs network resources.
Yeah, for me, I haven't been. It's really just about the upload
God
bandwidth
damn it, guys,
specifically.
get better internet.
I have good internet. That's a sad thing. I'm gonna switch something up for you. 1 second.
You get a
Okay.
better computer, Matt, so you don't have to watch the stream.
I could, but I don't have the director tool.
You don't need a director tool.
I got it. I'm not
Okay.
using the director tool to watch as like a secondary commentator. I'm just.
Oh, your voice is doing weird stuff now. Just when you start doing that, go a little robotic.
I'm going robotic now.
Very much so, yeah.
It
You
does
just
if
got
you're
some,
talking, like,
just
away
got
from
some
the mic.
reverb. It's not really robotic so much as it's like a reverb kind of deal.
Okay, we'll fix that. Well, the
That
race
sounds
is gonna
good.
go live.
That sounds good. Anyways,
Yeah, I had
Cliff
to- I had
Hemian
to
is
close
up
it.
front. He was in line for his first Academy win last week, but kind of had it taken away by Bennett at the last moment. So let's see if Hemian can stick with it
And
this time.
already it's a nightmare. Gianmarco Silvestri has fallen behind everyone and appears to have.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on
David
back there.
Nelson got a drive-through penalty for
What?
incorrect position off the start.
I think
It's
we
been
saw
cleared, though. I think
Silvestri and
that's
Nelson. Nice,
Justin do it.
probably.
I manually cleared. If he's out of position for
Oh,
last
Silvestri
place, I'm
going
not gonna make him
sideways.
drive through.
Ooh, before turn 1, what happened there?
Are we missing anyone?
Silvestri.
It looks like they're all. Looks like they all got along.
Silvestri's got
Oh,
some front
there's
end damage.
Silvestri.
Silvestri nosed into turn 1.
Oh,
before turn
that's
1 even happened.
Northrop, I want to say. We just lost. No. Yep,
They've got to
that was
take an
Northrop.
easy pace here in the rain. They're trying to push too hard. They're going to have
Yeah.
problems. It takes a long time to get these tires up to pressure because they need to get up to 30 psi, sometimes 31 psi.
James, Silvestri, and Northrop are all having hard times.
That's not good. Oh no, it's someone up there.
Picha is off in the sand gravel.
Yeah.
Luckily, because it's wet, damage won't matter much for Silvestri. It's all about the.
Well,
Dave James, no.
there's
Why
our
not
man of the
happen?
hour, Zach Bennett. He, I believe with 12 drivers in, he simply needs to finish today to officially wrap up the season championship. But I think he wants to get 3 wins in a row.
I would. That's speaking of the fact that I've almost never won. Only won once. No, twice.
These guys are really aggressive with how wet the track is. It's significantly wetter than it was at the start of the of practice and
yeah.
qualifying.
It's not even a light rain, it's a heavy rain.
Yeah, this is a new
Yeah,
experience.
it's medium to heavy. Yeah.
This is like a David Cage level of rain.
But
Well, we
Cliff,
still got 2 levels higher. This is
Mhm.
this is 2 rows of water. It could actually be heavier, and you could even get a thunderstorm. It's
I'm trying to
about
qualify.
as heavy as you can get with standing water without a dry line.
Yeah.
From what I've seen in ACC,
Ooh.
any less than this, a dry line will usually happen. So
I've
it's
had
wet.
to qualify at Spa in Thunder and Lightning. It was very difficult.
Yeah, it seems like they've sorted themselves out though.
Yep.
David
Cliff's
James
running
in the
away.
very back of the pack here.
Yeah, well, Cliff's in the best
James,
spot.
Northrop, and Silvestri have kind of regathered themselves and are starting to pick up momentum. Meanwhile, Hemian is just out of there.
Yeah, Hemian has no fear on the wet.
He booked his flight and left.
Yeah, he's doing what he's got to do. It's about being smooth and being comfortable with the throttle control. You know, if they're hot dogging down the brakes and not not driving it to the track, you're gonna have a lot of problems.
In your experience, how well does ACC's traction control respond to the wet? Is it helpful? Does it do anything?
It's twofold. If you simply want to make it around the track without dying, you can crank that up all the way to, on some cars it goes up to 11. You can crank to like 9 or 10,
Yeah.
and you'll be okay. And you can just kind of slam your foot as if you're in the dry, and the traction control will do all the work. That being said, you will be slower. It is faster to run as little traction control in the wet as possible, and use the additional slip to help
Yeah.
rotate the car since the front doesn't have the grip.
For the Lambo, 6, 7, and 8 are the wet maps for, or not the wet maps, but like the wet settings for the traction control. And I discovered that I needed a setting in between 6 and 7 because 7 was too much, 6 was too little. So I was like, why isn't there a setting like in between?
Yeah, and that's why some cars will have the TC2 dial, so you can fine tune that sort of stuff. I found in practicing Laguna in the wet in the V12 Aston, going down the front stretch, when I went under the bridge at the start-finish line where the road kind of drops off from you, the car would spin out on me if I didn't have the TC pretty high. It just comes out from under you, you aquaplane off on and start spinning, the car just gets sideways in a straight line, so, you know, you can definitely make the adjustments to keep the car safer with TC. Flipping a little sideways, he's really feeling it.
Well, you guys were talking, Picha had a accident with Silvestri over the, right before the front straight. Looks like only Picha was affected though. Looks like Suarez and he kind of contacted
Take a look here.
and that kind of straightened him out.
Oh,
Buster
no.
and McLaughlin into each other, they're off. McLaughlin's got some front end damage. It looks like he ran into the rear or the side of Larry. Now Larry is side by side with Silvestri and Northrop, so...
Oh, watching the
this one,
replay.
as long
Yeah, McLaughlin came in underneath Foster and unfortunately made contact and they both spun around.
yeah. Oh, Zach!
Foster's now
going
holding up
wide.
Silvestri.
This is a replay of lap 1. Ah, that's what sent Northrop around.
Silvestri dives under Foster.
And Zach also made a move for second place over David Jones.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Ooh, my.
Yeah.
We're
That was
doing
almost
a
bad.
someone to stream it? What's going on now?
Well, we're watching a
Yes.
fight here between, this is Suarez, Fossil, Silvestri, Northrop, and James, all on a line, going through the final.
Suarez, one hell of a dive under Silvestri and Northrop. And
Oh.
it looks like he was able to make good on that.
Yep, and he's pulling away. But Silvestri does get by Foster, who
It's
has...
like a busy track right here.
Oh man, yes, Foster's gone from second back to ninth on that lap. I mean, he was hit by McLaughlin and spun not of his own accord, so can't blame it for that.
Examining Peach's car, if he continues to fall back, I wonder if he's got some damage.
Foster's getting
Doesn't look like it.
Alright, for some reason my internet upload has slowed to 0 kilobits per second. I'm dropping every frame. So I'm just gonna have to cut that and we'll do upload the full recording later.
Really? Because the stream on Twitch looks not too bad.
Nope, now it's back up. Okay. Just cut out there for a moment.
I don't know if sharing this to Matt will cause my mic to sound funny in Discord. So.
It isn't yet.
I had to set it to 15 FPS to not overload everything. So you get the slide.
Yeah.
It looks better now.
Okay.
It looks a lot clearer now on your stream, Justin.
Alrighty. Better than nothing.
Yes, and Comcast sometimes giveth and many times taketh away.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Ooh,
It looks
David
like
Nelson
David
has been a
Jones.
nice run. So
Oh
good.
yeah. No, it's true. He's charged up the field. David Jones has lost another spot, it looks like, and I think David Nelson is starting to come into his own here. He's starting to charge for it. We've got a tight pack other than him. Cliff in the front, just driving away with it.
I have to say, Academy's doing pretty good things for the guys in ACC. You have guys running up near the top like David Nelson. Who was it?
Well, we saw that in the
Hemian,
Sunday
yeah.
series, definitely. I mean, for a while, you were having a battle yourself, Justin, with a couple of the Academy guys, and we were commenting on how they better be careful not to overstep, because don't want to show.
Here we go, Foster up the inside of Northrop. And he gets the job done going into turn 1.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it is true. There's definitely a couple standout guys that they found their footing. They've grown a lot.
Like Quinn Smith aside, because Quinn Smith was on another level.
Yeah, Quinn Smith joined because he was newer to ACC. He was looking for leagues. and he definitely had a little bit more experience than the academy was expecting for the level of driver that we're trying to keep within. You know, we don't want people to feel like they're being still clubbed out there. That's the whole point, is to bring the entire level of competition down a bit so that your race isn't over by lap 15 when you're getting blue flagged by 1,000 cars and getting freight trained, and that doesn't help you.
Nelson diving underside Jones. Oh, no,
I don't know if I told you, Clifton, but I realized Clint Smith was a little out of place when he was doing like my lap times at Zolder, and it's like, this guy's in the academy?
Yeah.
Maybe you should be in the academy, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
true. I
probably
know
should.
you lost to a couple of academy drivers Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday? No, I didn't race Wednesday.
No, that was his dad in there.
Sunday.
Oh, that was Big Higgs.
That was the big
yeah, it was
Higgs.
Big Higgs.
Gotcha.
Well, by law of diminishing returns, Matt really needs to be in the academy.
I probably should, but I think I do. It wouldn't work as well.
We're also
There's still a
commenting
lot I
on.
need to learn, but like,
We're also commenting on Sunday of Nelson and Garen were coming together for most of the race, and I mean, like we were talking about how they've both basically been immense success stories of the academy on two very opposite sides of the strategic field, so to speak.
Well, guys, don't hold your breath. Zach Bennett got by McLaughlin up into second place, 13 seconds behind the leader. Last week we saw him dash the dreams of Cliff and, you know, take away that win. See if he can track him down again.
I figured that I could have passed Dave Nelson in front of me
James
on
Debs under
Sunday
Northrop.
if I didn't have 13 seconds of damage in my pit. I probably could have gotten away with it because it didn't really affect my lap time that much.
So we got the twin battles of James versus Northrop and Silvestri versus Foster.
Oh, McLaughlin kind of fades to the inside of Bennett. Didn't spring on it, though. Stayed behind him.
And Justin, when you ran out of fuel on the last, or you were running out of fuel on the last stop on Sunday, I was catching up so fast to you and David. I was like, give me one more lap. No.
Yeah, if it was one more lap, I wouldn't have made it. I crossed with less than 2.2 liters. And I did the math real quick and realized that if I lifted and coasted, I might be able to make a safe pit stop. And if I had taken the pit stop, by my math, I would have lost probably 5 or 6 more
Oh,
slots,
Bennett
so.
goes wide. Here's McLaughlin's chance to get underneath him. Bennett will hold on to the position for now, though.
The same for Nelson and Jones. Nelson slips by Jones there in the hairpin. Matt and I are on board with Nelson right now in his dash cam.
Oh, James goes off in the
Jones
background.
goes way wide. And as always, Nelson works from the back, moving on up, showing some good speed. Maybe he was just giving himself a challenge today, not doing any qualifying.
Meanwhile, Hemian is extending his lead further. We got a car off in the chicane. That is Silvestri.
I'm willing to bet Nelson and Silvestri just didn't qualify, thinking they wanted to go into turn one at the back of the field with this
That's
rain.
probably a smart choice.
Yeah, I mean,
or like me at this track on it was a pre-race for Wednesday. It was either Wednesday or Sunday. It was a wet race here. No, I think it was Wednesday because Mike was there.
Well, any other series, I'd say you should start at the back of the field in the rain, and this one, as well behaved as they've been, hasn't really been a problem. You know, I wouldn't fear being up there.
This is a thing on Sunday. Jesus.
I think the Academy's been better behaved on their starts than the Big Boy Series, as the Academy jokingly calls it.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Well, part of that is got to be attributed to the fact there's considerably less of them here.
Yeah.
I guess
Oh, Bennett goes around. Oh, he gets turned the right way, though.
Jones almost goes into him.
McLaughlin did hit Bennett, though, and got him pointed in the right direction.
That was almost a slow motion.
Oh yeah, real lazy spins here in the wet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Gotta
there's...
be careful.
You may only have like 10 or 12 drivers in this series versus like 40 in like, you know, the Wednesday series. Reality is though, I mean you see some of these guys finishing up in like 10th. There's 30 guys in that series who very well could and maybe should be in the Academy, so...
Yeah, probably some of the newer guys.
I wasn't referring to the skill part as much as I was referring to just that it's harder to navigate a huge field.
Yeah, all I'm saying, it's like you look at the bigger field, but don't attribute that to just being lots of fast drivers. It's a big field of equally messy drivers. In fact, I'd say far more messy.
Track didn't lose too many positions, I guess, because people are more spread out because of the wet.
Yeah, it looks like Jones is pushing. Yeah, Jones is pushing really hard, and he's making mistakes. He's starting to go back into a dry line where he uses the curbs under braking, which is at this track will send you straight around. You cannot touch the curb under braking here at Barcelona. They are extremely slippery.
McLaughlin locks it up and is forced to take a pretty wide line through turn 2. Nelson is, we'll say he's licking his chops, I think.
Yeah, well, Hemming can absolutely cruise at this point. With the way these guys are fighting, he just took 5 more seconds into that lead.
Oh, yeah.
I think he can put up his feet at this point and, you know, put on the autopilot. Just bring it home for his first win.
No, don't do that. The car is the pedals.
You don't want to risk anything here in the wet. You know, you let your guard down for 1 second. You let.
No YouTube, but.
No. Do you think Rolls-Royce will make a GT3?
I mean, they don't really have the racing heritage as much, but they could.
I think a Rolls-Royce GT3.
I mean, let's be honest, the M8 is already almost as big as a Rolls-Royce Wraith, so might as well just like...
But that's not a GT3, that's GTE.
No, the only pedigree that... No, there's a GT3 M8, isn't there? There's that an M6?
There's an M6, and there's an M4 coming next year.
The Rolls-Royce does have a little bit of pedigree in airplane racing and airplane motors.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they do, but that's about it.
I want to say they made the Wasp.
No, the Rolls-Royce Merlin, the Rolls-Royce Griffin, and the Rolls-Royce Neen.
Well, they're all they're all like transport aircraft engines.
Pratt & Whitney.
What?
Pratt & Whitney made the Wasps, like the double Wasp and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Well, the race is dying down for first and second, but it's still going pretty strong. McLaughlin's falling back. He's maybe he needs a little bit more front downforce in the rain here with the damage he has on that nose.
The between James and Northrop has added Bennett to the list as Bennett has gotten comfortable in 8th place. I'm examining his car closely, and it doesn't look like there's any damage, so maybe he just spooked himself a little bit. Maybe overheated the tires just a bit. He just set his best lap on 54.903. So, not doing too poorly. This is as compared to the 155 mids that Northrop and James are setting currently.
What's the last lap?
154.9.
Oh, it looks like Northrop and James getting very racy here.
Am I muted?
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Matt and I are following the battle of James and Northrop from a dash cam perspective with Bennett's car, McLaren.
It's pretty stable, or at least Northrop's car does. Or no, are we on Bennett or Northrop?
We're on Bennett right now, watching Northrop and James battle it out.
Good sliding.
A little brave there, Northrop. Alright, Bennett.
This is in a battle between Larry Foster and Josh McLaughlin develop. The twin Aston Martins duking it out for 4th place.
Whoa, Zach.
Whoa.
Yeah, Zach got a little topsy-turvy getting up on the curbing on the exit there as he ran wide. You got to be real careful here at Barcelona. The white and red curbing is not your friend. In the wet.
Northrop makes a pass under James, who gets a little bit unsteady on the out of whatever turn that is. Looks like we have a car out. That's David Nelson. David Nelson is spun.
Oh no.
Is that
Passed by Foster, then McLaughlin, and now sits back in 5th.
Oh no, it's David James there in the 107 penalty.
Yeah, we're still following along while that accident happened here on Bennett's in-car, and now we've got ourselves a nice little train down the front stretch.
So he's got 5 seconds, or Nelson has 5 seconds up to Jones. That's back to 2nd place where he originally was. It's not impossible, but he looks a little shaken.
these academy guys are practice quite a lot, like almost every day there. I see them on at least like 2 or 3.
Oh no, that's McLaughlin.
Oh no.
Bad Josh.
Oh, and his car looks heavily damaged.
Did he go straight into the inside wall?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Ooh,
he
not the best rejoin there.
He over rotated and had a tank slapper trying to recover and just slammed the inside wall.
Oh, he went
Oh
straight
yeah,
into it
that
head
car
first.
is messed up.
Very much so.
I would not be surprised if his steering is a little off.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one to get it all the way around the track.
Yeah, look how much
yeah,
he has to steer.
he's definitely damaged. He's gonna try and limp it back to the pits here.
I do appreciate the Nissan Nismo gloves.
So with all that, Dave Jones up to second, Larry Foster back up into the podium.
And Gustavo Cuna also going around in the same place that, or no, not just kidding. That's a lie.
Almost goes around.
When we're gonna get the British GT tracks.
But meanwhile, we immediately see Nelson putting pressure on Foster again, gaining a second in the last sector, so he's clearly recovered quickly. Will be enough to catch Jones, who hasn't lost much time.
Oh,
we don't know.
Sponsored by Elf.
Watching
Yeah.
Picha and Kuna here in the back, fighting a couple Bentleys.
Oh, we have a spin in the chicane. James and Bennett have gone together.
And meanwhile, Nelson is looking up the inside of Foster going into turn 1. And looks like he's gonna clear it. No, Foster with the cut back.
Foster's gonna try and dive on the inside. Sketchy but clean. Nelson defends.
Woo.
Oh, Foster gets a little sideways.
Nice move from Nelson there. First overtake and then defend. Nice job.
Yeah, for sure.
So the fight has caused Nelson to fall a little bit from Jones. He's now 5 seconds down as opposed to 4 when he crossed the line. So he's got some work ahead of him. Can he make it? Can he get a second per lap? It's not unreasonable. We've seen him be pretty frighteningly fast in these conditions, but only time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah, now the Astons here are going to struggle a little bit in the wet if they're not careful with their rake angle, because naturally that car wants a lot of rake. It's because of that you get a lot of suspension travel in the rear, and in these wet conditions, sometimes the car gets away from you coming out of the corner as the weight shifts too much into the rear too suddenly, and there's just a lot of floatiness going on back there. So
Do you think they're on wet setups or like adapted from dry?
it varies from driver to driver. I think the track isn't incredibly wet, but I do think if the drivers were taking precaution, they would have had a few, you know, a cheat sheet, so to say, that was going around as far as things you can tweak and tune going into the race. And it looks like the Astons kind of took more of a more rotate heavy tune, trying to take advantage of that, whereas the McLarens were more about keeping a stable platform. You can see Larry getting all types of sideways in the Aston.
Yeah,
The
no,
interesting thing,
looking very stable.
exactly, and the interesting thing about the Aston too is, in the wet at least, is you can lose a little bit of time getting a little tank slappy and letting it play a little bit, because the TC isn't holding you back as much. But the problem is it's a fine line you walk. You know, you could end up spinning it, you could end up binning it. It's a tough one.
Ooh, taking a look here at a replay between James and Bennett. James was up ahead. He kind of crossed over heading into the chicane, closed the door, but Bennett in the wet just kind of sailed right into him and unfortunately spun James around. But I think Bennett waited up for him because I'm looking at them live now and James is right on the tail of Bennett.
Yeah.
That was in the final chicane, right?
Yeah.
I saw that live. It wasn't pretty.
No, it wasn't terrible. It was really just the rain kind of made it worse.
But meanwhile, it appears that Nelson is holding firm on that 1 second per minute goal. He's almost, at least. He's down to 4 seconds, barely back from Jones, with 3.5 minutes left. This could be possible.
He's still got Foster on his tail, and I gotta look at the results
like
again.
he's
I don't know if
towing-
Foster's had a single podium this season. Which
It looks like Foster is being towed along by Nelson, actually, because he hasn't lost really any time to Nelson, but they've both gained heavily on Jones.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Astons, most of the Aston field seems to have gone with a bit of a riskier setup to try and get a better punch out of the hole, and it looks like it hasn't really paid dividends.
Sideways, sorry.
No, it's all right. No, it's all right.
Got a little excited.
I think Jones with a bit of a safer tune, and he's able to get that consistency to good use.
Just gonna ride on board with Larry Foster here, see what he does. He did not get the drive out of that last turn though. He's actually losing ground to David going down the straight.
What I was shouting about a couple seconds ago and interrupted Justin, in the run up to the last chicane, Nelson went way wide over the bumpers and actually even over the curbs, and I got really sideways, but was able to lock it up and recover and lost a little bit of time. But that was a heart-pounding moment for a second there.
You know, he lost a little time, but I mean, he got the even better run out of the turn because of that, and that helped him defend turn 1. But Larry is there.
Well, he lost about half a second on Jones throughout that turn, so
I imagine at this point all his focus is on just defending against Foster.
yeah, I would agree. Especially after that little brown pants moment, I think that
I can't tell who's faster. It seems Nelson is more stable, but there's a little faster.
Yeah, Larry's definitely letting the wet, trying to use the wet to get that rotation and pointing the score basically. And Nelson's really focusing on just keeping the car as stable as possible.
well, that is kind of, I mean, you know, Nelson's grown a lot over the last season, but that is kind of his underlying modus operandi.
Oh, there he goes. Nelson runs wide. He does. No, he's gonna let Foster by. There we go. In fact,
now under the grass. Nelson, back it off, man.
And the leader's on the final lap, so next one by will be the finish here.
He does remain ahead of Northrop though, who's having a nice comeback after that incident in the first sector. Oh no, Larry!
It's really squirrely.
Oh, and it looks like David.
Oh, it's heating up for third place here. We will be on the podium.
Yeah.
Northrop got a good run out of that last corner.
I gotta say, you talk about the McLaren just being a bit more stable, and that's really helping them through that last curve.
He's making a look. I don't think he's a little bit out of range, and it looks like he agrees. It gets a little wide. Northrop makes a dive under turn 1.
Nah,
yeah, the car you want to be here is Northrop. You always want to be the third car in this kind of train for the last lap, because what's going to happen is you're going to wait for that moment where they overextend to make a move, and that's your gap.
I was gonna say, is Northrop, man, if he's going after Nelson, that's just gonna let Foster away. He needs to just sit back, let them basically take each other out. Oh!
Contact! Oh no!
Northrop, no.
Look, he's got a pretty huge gap to 60 behind
that
him,
was just all Nelson losing it on his own.
Yeah, he's got a nice buffer to Nelson. He should be okay in that sense.
So Bennett is now the next car to Nelson, and I mean, looks like he took some damage, but I think he should be able to just kind of limp it along the last lap. He doesn't have a lot to gain, but stands to lose potentially quite a bit, so I think the smart move is just to coast it.
Yeah, if I'm Larry, I'm cranking the TC up to literal 11 and riding it out to the finish.
Yeah.
Making sure I don't mess it up.
Although rounding the last turn.
Crosses the line.
There he is. Gets his first win in the Academy. Well done, Cliff.
Who's in the head of the championship?
Very dominant day. That will be Bennett. That will be Bennett. Dave Jones is going to come home to a pretty nice second place, escaping all the chaos behind him.
Looks like he just kept it a little stable, and so we didn't run the risk of what these guys are doing.
Let me check here. That is going to be Jones' best finish of the season.
Oh, my
excellent. Nice job. Great job, Dave. All three of you.
All three Daves.
Yep, so on the final Dave showdown, it is indeed Jones who takes the title.
They should all team up and become Team D3.
Team Dave.
I was gonna say, if they don't
or 3D.
if they don't run a team, if they don't run a 3-man team one of these seasons in the 3D series and name themselves Team 3D, I'm gonna be very upset. Very upset.
3D speed.
I will be protesting at the Capitol.
Here they come. Might see some donuts. Zach Bennett does cross the line in 6th, which will give him the series championship.
What if he does that?
Definitely a bit of a breakout year for Zach here. He was fast, but never quite put it together last season. He's been pretty dominant second half this season.
Yeah. He put it together. We're gonna go ahead and I'll double check the point standings and see if we can get a look at what the picture looks like.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the previous rounds and then trying to add up in my head. Perhaps you have access to uploading the results quicker.
Alright.
Possibly. Let's figure this out.
Let's figure this out. We'll get the preliminary results up right now as soon as we can get the log files from the server. We'll get this in before we end the broadcast, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Some donuts from Cliff on the front stretch. Good win.
Nice.
You love to see it, and he brings it home in the rain in convincing fashion.
Yeah, no contention there the entire time.
Yeah, that was dominant performance.
Oh, for sure. Like, no faults at all.
Looked a bit like that R Factor 2 race last night, didn't it, Matt?
Yeah, you were just cruising. Cruising away. Justin should pick up RF2.
Yes, he should.
Maybe. We'll see.
I was lucky to come away. That was I think it was my highest place of the season, and even though like 'cause we kept messing up at other tracks.
Oh, that was definitely that was my first race I basically finished the entire season.
Like I messed up Sebring from pole. I messed up Road America from second. I flipped at Road Atlanta.
Yes.
And by the way, can I just say the music is just fantastic in that clip?
I've had a couple close, nearly good finishes lately, and it's definitely picking up for me. But I've run into my own problems, and I hope I don't turn into one of those almost guys where I keep having almost top 5, almost top 3, and just have some crazy stuff happen. Because that's 3 times I've had really good finishes for me, killed by fuel, by an accident, by locking them up. Like, there's all these bad things that I keep running into. I'm trying to have just a good race. Alright, so we're getting the log file up now. It'll be uploaded in about 30 seconds.
Awesome.
So we'll see. Season 5. Finale. Statistically. There we go. Let me go to scoring and create some scoring. Interesting, Jake Northrup had the fastest lap of the race, despite Cliff running away with it. Okay. So scoring should be saved. All right. So if our lead commentators here want to take down the order, it should be up on the site. I can get them a link if they want to go down the.
I got it here. Let me see if it's updated for me yet. Yes, it has. All right. With his 6th place, looks like championship leader will indeed be Zach Bennett, 221 points. Very dominant here. He's got about a 50-point gap. Then you have Dave Jones, that's Dave Jones in 2nd place with 176. Oh, narrowly edging out David Nelson in 3rd place with 172.
So Dave Jones won the Dave battle.
Yes, he did.
So if Nelson had passed Jones and held it, he could have had the
4th
place.
place would have actually, yeah. That was the difference maker there.
Yeah.
Very close behind as well. Cliff Hemian, 4th place. Larry Foster in 5th. Neutral Jungle, which is
Quinn Smith.
Oh, that was Smith. Yes. Okay, then
that was Smith. You don't have to count for the results.
Yes.
We'll skip over that.
Shown here
so
in 6th, but then the new 6th place driver is David James. Josh McLaughlin comes home in 8th. Gianmarco Silvestri in 9th, and Jake Northrup in 10th. Hanging on right behind them is John Picha in 11th. Gustavo Cunha in 12th, Peter Tomes in 13th, Paulo JS, I don't remember who that is. He got 11th. Soares, I think that's Soares. That must be Soares then.
Yeah, it is Soares.
And 14th, then you start getting down some guys who weren't around the whole season. Perugini in 15th. Neptune, I don't remember who that is.
That's George Paluca.
Yes, Paluca 16, Yarborough 17, Shangfeng Fei in 18, and Capote Sloper in 19th.
Some of our latecomers. We have Vincent Grimmard, who was one of our latecomers. He missed this week because he's having some. I believe he's having some different things going on, some exciting things, and I'm not quite sure who Mapram. Oh, Mapram is that is George Paluca's friend, I believe.
Ah.
So.
And just to round out all those who joined us this season, we had. I have no idea what this tag is. Extreme Games. Sorry, don't know what your name and game was. We also had Leonardo Elijah, if you're out there. Zach Wolf joined us for a round, and Calculix. We got to get these names matched up better with their real names.
Calc would be Matt. That would be Matt. You saw him at Monza last season as Matt McSendit.
Ah, yes. And he was at Monza here again.
Yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, he missed most of the most of January and December as far as racing goes. He had some very personal issues. I hope that we'll be seeing more of him going forward. I know that he ran the Wednesday series. He may be running the Sunday series. I'm not entirely sure, but he's a good guy, and he's also a great newcomer. He's good friends with all the guys in the academy, so it's a good group.
So what was his name?
Matt.
Matt.
Matt Send It.
Call him Matt Send It. I forget what his last name is in the server, but his name, everyone knows him as Matt.
Nice.
He was in the first race last season.
Yes. To borrow the mic from you guys a little bit further here, the reason I joined commentary today was because it is the final race of the season. It was a wet race, which was something different. It was promised, and we had our planned rain date somehow come up, roses, in England. But I want to announce what's going forward with the academy. So we're going to have 2 weeks of academy time off. That may be extended by 1 week depending on how the rescheduling goes for the Sunday series, as well as the fact that there is Easter Sunday and Super Bowl Sunday, which I know that this is an international series, but there were some drivers concerned about overlapping things since it's basically a national holiday in the United States. So we'll see how that goes as far as rescheduling goes. So there may be a 3-week period, probably a 2-week period off guaranteed.
At least 2 weeks.
At least 2 weeks, minimum 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, depending on. I believe that the 3rd week would be Super Bowl Sunday, so that's why we might have 3 weeks off. The exciting thing next season, we will have Germany versus Italy. That is the challenge. Going back to, I don't know if you guys ever watched Survivor growing up, but that is the idea. We won't be sending people off the Academy Island, but what we will be doing is tallying points between the two countries. There will be 4 car entries, technically 6, because I am going to allow the 2020 variations of both the AMG and the Ferrari. So we're going to have all available. We're going to have the Lambo, the Ferrari, and the DLC Ferrari, as well as the AMG, the new DLC AMG, and the Audi. I'm not including the
Porsche.
Rex or the Porsche or the BMW.
No, include the Rex.
Yeah, no Rex, no Porsche, no BMW, and no old Lamborghini chassis, just because all of the chassis are basically strict upgrades. The difference being that the DLC ones, obviously, if you have the DLC, you're more than welcome to. If you don't have the DLC, we want to make sure that there's an option available to you. And what we're going to do is we're going to tally up the points between the different countries. So hopefully we have a bit of a spread. I'd love to see if instead of a, conventional wisdom, instead of everyone joining with one car, everybody goes to what they like. I think the Ferrari is very popular, so we're going to see a lot of 2020 Ferraris, I think.
So here's what I'm thinking. Is there like an Academy Championship, and as well there's going to be like a country championship, or just countries?
There will be an overall points standing list, but the thing that I want everyone to focus on as the main draw, the main championship, is going to be Italy versus Germany. So, to keep going with this very homely, very warm community that we've been growing in the academy, I would love to see that continue. And I think instead of having a couple guys get together and practice and stuff, because what we saw was a lot of the Aston guys really bonded together, and a lot of the McLaren guys were out on the track together, and the Bentley guys were out there. I think what we'll see now is two larger groups kind of form, and hopefully with something like that, we'll see even more camaraderie. Because starting this, the academy, there's a lot of things you learn. There's a lot of different starting places. Maybe it's basic car control for some very new drivers to sim racing. Maybe it's finding improvements in lap time because you've hit a plateau very early in your career and you just never made it past it. Maybe it's learning racecraft because you get nervous around other drivers, or you get frustrated because you don't understand how to pass drivers and how it's not done in turn 1 by dumping the guy in front of you, Matt. And maybe
what?
Yeah, everyone's at a little bit of a different.
Hey, that
junction.
did happen. Not last time. That was the time before.
So, there's all these different junctions, and one of those things that gets skipped over a lot is the fact that there's a level of teamwork and team building, and racing is a team sport. And sometimes on the sim, we feel very individualistic because we're tuning our own cars, we're practicing our cars privately on our own private tracks, and there's all this going into it that's very alone. And sometimes I feel like we see that in the upper levels of ESR, where the Sunday server and the Wednesday server, more often than not, are fairly empty most of the time. Even though they're up for practice all week, they're fairly empty. But if you look at the academy, there's always somebody in there. I check the logs at least once a week, and I've got a million logs of drivers coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out. So I'd love to see that kind of culture build from the ground level, the base, the new drivers, so to speak, build that culture. And I think and inject it into the upper levels of the ESR pyramid here. So we'll see what happens. It'll be really fun. It'll be really exciting. But 2 to 3 weeks time, get ready to bring it. We're gonna open up signups at the end of next week, I think. So we'll open up signups in about 10 days. Maybe less, depending on how we work out the logistics of this. So be excited for that, guys. I'm very excited. Oh, and I almost forgot, I'm talking a lot here. I'll wrap it up. One last important thing. We do have some graduates this season. The growth that we've seen out of Cliff, out of Dave Nelson, out of Zach Bennett. You guys have you found your footing. You went into the Sunday series. You both finished top 10. You're finishing very well. You still have a little bit to learn. And so in an effort to stop the overall level from getting too high in the academy, which then defeats the purpose, I'm going to say you guys are graduated. If you want to return, you can take an enormous ballast. Mandatory, no questions, doesn't matter. You can take an enormous ballast, and you guys can be the big dogs of the group that go and help and take on that intermediate role. Message me. I'm really excited. We can do something about that. But for now, you guys are all, you get your little blue ribbon, you get your little scout badge, says I graduated, and those are the big 3 for me this season.
Hey, nice job.
Man, I wish I had my soundboard up rolled so I'd play a yay.
Yeah.
I don't have mine either, but yay! All right, guys. So I'll leave it to the regular commentary crew to close out. I'm Justin. I'm on ESR. You can always message me and find me in the Discord server. Have a good one.
See ya.
Big thanks, Justin.
Big son.
Always good to have him here. He's always such a positive influence on everything. And I mean, it remains to be said how much this man does for, not even just the academy. Of course, he's like the
He's in charge of the Sunday series.
What's that?
He's the head of the Sunday series.
Yeah, I mean he does so much for this entire organization, and so it's good to hear from him directly. I know he's a big role model for a lot of the academy, and so it's always good to hear him be so positive, even when essentially kicking out people at the academy. We're graduating. You're graduating.
It's the kicking him out under another name. Maybe we can get some
American
guy from here.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get some more entries in here. I mean, He's moving
right,
on
the
out like
academy
5
guy.
or so drivers. That's a lot of them. It's like half the field today. So we can get some more.
Well,
people
as
in
you
here.
said, there are a lot of people who could probably stand to use an academy season or two.
Yeah.
Ayrton Cole.
Yes. But
You know, Matt, I don't want to hear from you. I'm under a lot of
Hey,
stress.
hey, why don't we just drag some academy guys in here?
how about we just ask Mike? I'm sure he could give us a long list of drivers who should be here. But
Recommendations for an academy seat.
You know what? Let's go with this. Anyone who shows up on a stewarding report has to do the next race in the academy and has to do it cleanly.
Well, I don't know if you saw the last 3D speed steering report, but there's quite a few drivers on that list. Why don't we just have a mandatory 3D speed to academy season? Like, everyone has to be in the academy.
Everyone has to complete the academy first. Really, I only see 3 guys on the last
Pack the academy.
3D speed one. But Laguna Seca got only 3 guys getting penalties. Although technically one of those was Quinn Smith, so I guess back to the academy you go.
Oh no!
No,
You
I
thought you
didn't
could
mean anyone
escape.
got penalties. I meant anyone who appeared in the thingy, the extorting report.
That's, I mean, still 3. But, yes, anyways, was a fun season.
Yeah, could we want to drag some academy guys in here? Get their word on this.
Sure thing.
What do they think of this season?
I forgot about Matt Send It. We got to see him again. I just remember his catchphrase, "Send it."
Let me ask him.
He said that like 3 times in the first race. I was like, oh, this guy. But he's cool. I like him.
Let's see here if anyone wants to hop in.
Hey Matt,
Yeah, what's up?
do you know where to find the official ACC director tool?
I
I'm
got
sure.
it installed. Oh, official one?
Yep.
Because I'm using the same
Yeah,
one we were
not
using
not
before.
not the broken one. The official one.
I haven't seen anything about that.
I think it comes with ACC, but I forget where to find it. And the internet's being surprisingly unhelpful.
Wow, I gotta say, this season flew by. It legit feels like yesterday that we were at Nürburgring watching that season finale. Alrighty. Looks like we've got our first taker. The first man to raise his hands. Josh McLaughlin. That didn't look fun. Well, it looked fun at first, and then it didn't look fun.
That looked good. Looked fun to me. I mean, you know, until the.
No, I love putting cars in the wall, you know, it's the best part of racing. Especially when it's your own, you know? And then you two laps down, it's like, yeah, this is what I want from a race.
Exactly.
Did your mum poke on the window
Fair
again?
enough.
No, not this time. No, I just ran wide and then tried to put the power down on a curb, and curbs and rain don't go together, so...
Yeah.
When I see you in the wall, I immediately think of that.
Yeah, I can understand that, to be honest. Yeah, no, it was a great race. Other than that, obviously, but yeah, it was good to see a lot of fighting going on and a lot of positions being taken, and you know.
You finished 8th in the standings. How do you feel?
8th in the standings. Okay, that's fine. I'm not really here for points, to be honest.
That's a good way to look at it. We're all here to grow, and
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not, because I'm already fully grown, but all you lads are here to
You're
grow.
not
No, I'm just
grown.
kidding.
You can do
And
some work.
I mean, what was it? This is the first.
Is that
Academy
Cole
race
McRae
in the rain,
finished
right?
last place in the 3D race? Saying he's great?
No, I
Yeah.
finished 3rd from last. You were the one who finished last.
No, I didn't finish.
Yes.
Pretty sure you
Yes, did
finished
finish.
last.
So therefore you were last.
No,
Let's
you're
see.
the last of
50th
the
place is lower
classified
or
sheet.
higher than 27th place.
Again, I didn't
Not
even
sure
finish.
about that
I was eating a sandwich during the race. It was great.
At least I tried.
Nope.
Anyway.
Anyways,
No one likes a quitter, Ayrton, is all I'm gonna say. Anyway, yeah, like how did it feel to have the last race be this in the rain? You know, I think this is the first rainy race we've had
It
so
is,
far, right?
it
In
is,
spite of
yeah.
Brain Hatch being predicted, but we dodged that bullet somehow.
It was challenging, to be honest. Setup's just different, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, I guess it was a little bit easier because I didn't know Barcelona, so I was learning for the first time in the rain, which I guess is easier than trying to unlearn the track.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you set up for the rain, or did you try to set up for like a hybrid? Because I mean, this race wasn't long enough to, I mean, maybe you could have planned to do a pit in the middle, but you know, did you?
I tried the wet setup, and Larry suggested to modify the aggressive setup. So I tried both, and I found one was better in, you know, under power, and one was better in entrance. It's like, which one do I do? So I just kind of modified the aggressive and just went with that.
And I mean, it felt good, I assume.
No, it didn't.
No? Okay, never mind.
No, you stuck the throttle and the TC goes on, and it's just terrible. But...
And what kind of TC were you running for the most part? Was it pretty high, or did you
started off
try
on
to...
3.3 and worked my way up to like 5.5 by the end. Wasn't really happy with the power, to be honest.
Yeah,
that sounds like
that Aston's looked pretty good all season, but Justin was kind of going over some of the little setup nuances of the cars, and it looked like all the guys in the Astons were kind of struggling for grip in the rain today.
Yeah, I mean, we hit it on the entrance, and for the most part, it was pretty hard to spin.
Definitely not nearly stable as that McLaren when it came to the turn exit.
Yeah. But I mean, you saw the McLarens, they spun real easy in the rain.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of a... There's not one car that's great, although Cliff was just gone.
He was out of there.
Yeah, we really didn't talk much about the Bentleys, but I assume they're probably pretty stable. They're relatively stable in normal concourse,
I don't think we saw any of them really spinning on their own today.
There was only 2 of them on grid though today, I think.
Well, there were 3. Kuna and...
Picha and Kuna.
Kuna, Jones,
Picha.
Jones, Hemian...
And Picha.
Well,
yeah, there's actually 4.
Well, Kuna had 2 or 3 spins there, but I don't know. You know, it could have been a setup thing.
Apparently, IRL the Aston is supposed to be really good in the rain because the design, like the rear suspension, just gives it good traction.
Okay.
I guess just further proof ACCs. No, it doesn't make sense.
But,
yep.
I mean, it's been a great season regardless of the last race. I mean, it's been, at the very least, it's been very fun to observe and to watch the fights kind of evolve.
So, Josh,
it's been fun
how
to
many
take part
poles
of.
you have?
Yeah. Sorry, poles.
Just had the 1 pole?
In this season, I think I just had the 1 pole. Yeah. Last season, I had 1 pole as well.
Did you win a race today?
I would have to check race app. I don't remember.
I'm actually looking over everything right here. If it would load.
I definitely took.
You got a second at Monza.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, second at Monza.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I took pole at Zolder.
No, I think it was Q Smith.
Q Smith. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to be the pole and first place winner to have fun and to learn.
Yeah. Well, that's the important part anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully 3D Speed and GT Challenge go well. Be fun to.
How's the Jag?
Not as bad as people say it is, to be honest. It's more fun to drive. You know, like just going down the straights next to a wall, you thank yourself for driving it. The sound is just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you hear it going by, you're just like, oh, it's so good.
Yep.
So are you and Jeff in talks about like setups, or?
We have messaged occasionally about setups. So I think in the future we are going to be doing some setup work together because he can be my carry.
Yeah, he's a decent guy.
I was very pleased to see a Jag at the top of the grid.
Hey.
Yeah, I raced with Jeff like last season, and I was teammates with them like in the driver's swap race. We did like a driver's swap race last season.
Oh yes.
I think we finished second just because Stoffmeal carried Javi P.
Ah yes. Yeah.
Well, I see we only had 9 drivers take part in the entire season, and we had 8 different drivers finishing on the podium throughout the season. So pretty well spread around.
Yeah.
Did anyone finish on the podium the entire season? No. No, they did not. In fact, the highest you had was 3 podiums out of 6 races for anyone.
Nice.
Who was that?
Bennett and Hemian
Oh, okay.
and Foster actually all got 3 podiums.
Were they the top 3 in the standings?
No. That is 1st, 4th, and 5th. Mr. Quinn Smith himself, if you consider 3 out of 3, before he was relegated upwards.
Unceremoniously demoted.
Yes.
Or kicked out, depending on how you see it.
Yeah.
We shouldn't keep you, Josh. I mean, we know you have stuff to do.
Yes, I have a life, somehow.
Yes. Alright, well, with that... Wait, when did Cole leave? I don't remember Cole leaving, but he's not here. Okay.
Maybe if you had...
About 10 seconds ago.
If you lost that life, you'd be better at ACC.
Maybe. Maybe if I actually practiced for races.
Maybe if
I
you were
might
better at
actually know the
ACC,
track.
you would be worse at life. Think of it that way. Don't do that.
That's true.
Yeah, I relate to that.
Well, with
Alright,
that,
I'll leave you
folks,
two to it.
see ya, Josh. We're gonna wrap things up.
See ya.
As always, this was your faithful commentators, Ayrton and Matt, and sometimes sometimes Cole. We'll see
Cole.
you on the other side. Wait, no, we're not gonna die. Anyways, we'll see you when
Later.
the next one starts. Okay, goodbye.